Assalamualaikum. Start this lady, the Facebook and already recorded in Zoom. You may go ahead now.
Okay, good. Jazakallah khair. طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته everyone. I hope everybody is doing well inshallah ta'ala and getting ready for Ramadan inshallah ta'ala. We're expecting Ramadan to be either tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So I hope everyone is ready and prepared inshallah ta'ala to receive this important annual season. But let us try to cover the first part of the class inshallah ta'ala, talking about the issue of wudu, ablution, and we'll leave the remaining part to talk about how to prepare for Ramadan inshallah ta'ala. Before I start, do you guys have any questions, anything in mind you want to share? Either pertaining to the topic that we're talking about or anything in general, inshallah. Ihsan, please go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to ask this for a long time, but can you tell me like the reason, like when we want to say an intention, we say for the sake of Allah. Like, can you explain more about that? Because I really don't understand about that.
You mean the intention when doing any ibadah?
Yeah, like you say this is for the sake of Allah.
The intention,
what does that mean?
what does it mean for the sake of Allah?
Yeah.
Okay. So it means that I'm doing this entire thing, which is usually an act of worship, to receive the reward from Allah alone, to please Allah alone, not to please anyone else.
Oh, okay.
So when you do something for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're not waiting for any, benefit or any income or any reward from anyone else.
Right.
But seeking only the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is it when you say this is, explicitly for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Okay, I understand now. Thank you.
Barakallahu fik, Ihsan. It is good, guys, always. Anything that you have in mind, we share and we ask in order to, remove any doubt or any vague things that we need to learn in our deen, inshallah. Yes, Usama.
Ustad, I want to share something in general.
You want to share something?
Yeah, in general.
Okay, go ahead.
Ustad, they have allowed in the haram that you can the small kids can go.
Okay. So you're calling everyone else who is close to haram to come and exploit such opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Good. Jazakallah khair, Osama. Jazakallah khair for bringing this up. So anyone else close from Mecca, whether you're planning to travel in Ramadan to do Umrah in Ramadan, ask your family to take you with them, because it is now open for even young ones to come and enter the haram, inshallah. Right, barakallahu fikum, guys. So let us start with today's class, inshallah ta'ala. We've covered in the previous class how to make ablution. We have seen through pictures and the steps how we go about performing ablution, wudu. So let us move to the next step. Usually, like we have covered in previous classes, any act of worship requires some conditions to be met, right? In order for that act of worship to be valid and accepted. So this is the case with all the acts of worship. There are requirements which are needed to be fulfilled and maintained in order for that act of worship to be valid and accepted. Here in the case of ablution, we have 7 shurut, 7 conditions. And in many cases, usually the first 3 are common with many of the acts of worship. So the first condition is Islam. So when you make ablution, it is required that you are upon Islam, that you are a Muslim. So if a non-Muslim makes ablution, is that ablution accepted from him? Can he pray with that ablution? We say no. Even if he makes ablution, even if he makes ablution, and then he makes the shahada and he becomes a Muslim, right? So when was the ablution made by this guy? Before Islam, right?
Yes.
If it were done before Islam, then that ablution is not accepted from him. So once he says the shahada for a non-Muslim, then he can make ablution in order to pray with that ablution, or take a shower, of course, before that. So this is the first condition. A person must be a Muslim in order for his ablution to be accepted. The second condition is sanity. What do we mean by sanity, guys?
Insane.
Insane, yes. He is not insane, right? He is not insane. Santi Umar. So if a person was insane, he has no mind, no conscience, right? That's why it's not accepted from him if he makes salah or he makes ablution, because Allah had exempted him. A person who is in a such condition where he has no sanity, he is exempted from everything, subhanAllah. So the third condition is the age of discernment, which is around 7 years old. How old are you now, Ya Umar? 5, mashallah. So Umar is 5. Umar did not meet this condition. But usually guys, if a person, not necessarily, it has to be precisely 7 years old. It is a condition or a state where if that child can differentiate between what's good and what's bad, right? If he reaches that level in which he can distinguish between things and he knows what's good and what's bad, what's harmful, what's beneficial, in this case, he can be among those who had met this condition, discernment. Okay, so the discernment age, not necessarily 7, but usually it is around 7. So if a person can tell that this is good, this is bad, when you tell him this is haram, this is halal, he understands. Here, if he makes ablution, his ablution is valid in this case. His ablution is valid and he can pray with it. Remember, in the case of salah, it does not become obligatory upon a child to pray if he does not reach the age of discernment, right? So once he reaches the age of discernment, it becomes recommended that the parents should also train this child to pray. Even lower than that age, they can train him to pray. So whenever he reaches, and also when he reaches year 10, here the parents must beat the child if he does not pray, or must enforce a form of punishment to make him pray, force him to pray. Why force him to pray? Because he must get acquainted with the prayer. If he goes on and he grows up without praying, it will not be easier upon him later on to take salah as a daily practice in his life. So that's why the Sharia had put cases in which you can excel with your child in order to prepare him to be among those who pray on time, inshallah. Yes, ya Usama. Usama or Ahmed, you guys have a question?
Ustad, what if somebody is of discernment, it is above 7 years old?
Yes, if he's above 7 years old, here his ablution is accepted. He had met that condition, right? He had met that condition. And if he makes wudu, his wudu is valid and his prayer is accepted, inshallah.
No, like what if suppose he does not become
He does not become?
He does not understand some things.
You mean even he reaches 7 years old and still he cannot distinguish between what's good and what's bad and so on?
Yes.
Thank you, Ahmed. So this is, again, we look into the case of that child, even if he reaches 7 years old, but usually it's the average, once they reach that age, they can tell what's right and what's wrong. So if somebody reaches that age and still he cannot distinguish between what's right and what's wrong, here it's not obligatory upon him to pray. It's not obligatory upon him to make ablution. If he does make ablution, it becomes just a matter of training him to make ablution, right? It becomes like the case if a 4-year-old child makes ablution to make salah, right? His parents get rewarded for training him from that young age to make ablution and to pray. But that child does not understand pretty much maybe what to say and what's right and what's wrong and what's not. So here, if you train him, it's good, but he is not required to make ablution. He is not required even to pray at that young age. But to make it as a mean of training him, this is fine. This is fine. The fourth condition is intention. So again, in any act of worship, you must attend in your heart that I'm doing now this act of worship. If I'm going to pray Dhuhr prayer, I must attend in my mind once I stand in line to pray that I am going to pray Dhuhr prayer. So you must attend in your mind. Okay. When you enter into the washroom to make ablution, you must attend in your mind, now I am going to make ablution. I'm going to make wudu. Like I mentioned to you earlier, if somebody enters into the washroom planning and intending only to wash his face, right? And without noticing, he finds himself doing a complete wudu. Is this wudu valid? What do you guys think?
No,
Why not?
because his intention was of washing his face, not to do wudu.
Because he did not have intention for wudu, right? His intention was only to wash his face. That's why you must attend in your heart that I am going to make ablution. Okay, in the case of intention, do we utter any words or any statements in order to confirm that I am going to make wudu?
No.
No, there is
No.
no utter the statements. You just intend in your heart, right? What if, like someone said before, I think it was Siraj, that do we say a remembrance with every part of the wudu? So when I wash my face, do I say, Allahumma bayyad wajhi yawma taswaddu wujuh wa tabyaddu wujuh? Because sometimes they say this, oh Allah, make my face white and bright on a day where the faces are going to be dark and faces are going to be bright. So do I say such dua whenever I wash my face, or I say another dua when I wash my arms? Is there anything of such? No, there isn't. So it's not from the sunnah to do such a thing. It's not from the sunnah to do such a thing. But the fifth condition, the water must be pure water. Remember when we talked about the types of water? What are the two types of water, guys? Abdurrahman, you have an answer or a question to ask?
Ustad, I was going to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Regarding the intention, what happens if you change your intention midway? Say you intend to wash your face and then suddenly you're like, you think that since I am here washing my face, why not I just make a wudu instead?
Okay, if you change your intention before you start making ablution, this is fine. Okay, but if you are halfway through ablution and then you remember, oh, I'm doing ablution now, my intention was washing only my face, right? Can we start from there, halfway through an intention to make ablution? What do you guys think?
You have to start from the beginning.
You must start from the beginning because the intention must be from the beginning, right? Like if somebody, for instance, is praying and he had no intention at all, or he was praying sunnah, for instance, he was praying sunnah, and then he remembered, I did not pray the Dhuhr prayer. And it was Asr time, for instance. Okay, or it was Dhuhr time, and he remembered when he was praying the Sunnah that he did not pray Fajr. Can he change the intention here while he's praying in the middle? No. We must start from the very beginning, okay? So that's why intention must be from the very beginning. So if you remember halfway through, you should start all over again with the intention and then start washing your hands, face, arms, and so on. Okay. Usama, yes, yeah, Usama. Usama and Ahmed.
Ustad, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Ustad, suppose like you intend that you go to the washroom for something else, and then after you finish that thing, then you say like, okay, now I can do wudu. And you make an intention for wudu. Then is the wudu
Yeah.
accepted?
Yeah, no problem. You can do that, Ahmed. If you enter in the washroom to do something, right? And then after you finished, you say, okay, let me make wudu. Have an intention for wudu. This is fine to do that. This is fine. Not necessarily before entering the washroom, you must have an intention, okay? Not necessarily. You can have the intention even inside the washroom, no problem. Make sense here, Ahmed? Clear? Good. So, okay, what about the fifth condition here, guys? I said we have spoken about the two types of water, right? What are they?
Najas and I forgot the last one.
Try to remember, Yazid. What is the
Tahur?
opposite of najas? Tahur, Ahsan. Tahur. Ahsant, Yazid. Tahur means pure, right? So we need to double check, is this water that we're going to use, is it pure or not pure, right? We look into the conditions of it. If you are, for instance, in an open place and you find a pond of water, then you need to check, is this water pure or not pure, right? We have to look into the three characteristics. And those three characteristics, were they changed because of filth or because of a pure substance? And is this water still called water or it is called something else? Okay, but usually here in our houses, when we open the tap, you don't have to check, is this a pure water or not? Because usually by default it is pure water. So you go immediately and you make ablution. The sixth condition, the removal of impediments. What do we exactly mean by that, guys? So water must reach the skin. So if there is anything in between reaching the water to your skin, like nail polish, or if there is any paint, or there is any dye on your hand, you must remove it first before you make ablution. Because usually these things are barrier. It does not make the water reach the skin. Okay, so for the case of women, if they want to make ablution, wudu, they must remove the nail polish, right? Once it is removed completely, they can make wudu. But if they make wudu with nail polish on their fingers, is it fine to make wudu in such state, guys? No, we cannot do that. If someone was painting his house, okay, let's say, yes, Abdurrahman Arif.
What about pen ink?
Good question, yeah, Abdurrahman. Ink also takes the same ruling like painting, right? Because usually ink may stand as a barrier, right? Because it's a substance. It's not just a pure color, like in the case of the henna, right? The henna, which is the reddish material women use to dye their hands or their feet and so on. This type of colors, it's fine to use. But usually in the case of ink and paint, it is a substance which covers the skin and it forms a layer on top of the skin. That's why we need to remove it first. Okay, so be aware of this. If you have paint on your hand, your face, for instance, then you must remove it before making ablution. But what if someone went on and made ablution and started praying, let's say Dhuhr prayer. Immediately after he finished prayer, he saw a paint spot on his finger, meaning that he made wudu with that paint spot is on his finger. Is his wudu valid? Is his salah valid? Usama?
No, it's not valid
Not valid. Why is it not valid?
because paint does not let water penetrate through it.
Yes, because paint, it covers the skin, right? It forms a level or a barrier between the skin and the water. The water that does not reach that tiny portion of skin underneath the paint. So in wudu, we must cover the entire part with water. What about this question, guys? Abdurrahman Arif, you have something?
No.
Okay. What if someone had paint on his shoulder, okay, and he wants to make ablution, or he made ablution, and he went on and prayed? Is his salah and wudu valid?
Yes, it is, because it is not touch the part that is supposed to do wudu on.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, MashaAllah alayk ya Zaid. We have a faqih with us here, MashaAllah. This was a tricky question, but MashaAllah, Zaid was very vigilant, MashaAllah. Allahumma barik. Ahsant ya Zaid. Because the shoulder is not among the parts of ablution, right? But what if someone has major impurity? Major impurity requires what, guys?
Ghusl.
It requires ghusl. And now he had that same spot on his shoulder of paint. And he went on and he took a complete shower with wudu. And he went and prayed. Is his ghusl valid? Is his salah valid, guys? Who has an answer? Show me a hand, guys. Ahmed.
I think that his salah is still valid.
Still valid? Are you saying still valid, Ahmed? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, who agrees with Ahmed, guys? Who agrees with Ahmed? Notice this guy is in a major state of impurity. So it is required that he takes a full shower, right? And he took a shower with this spot of paint on his shoulder. Usama, yes. Or wait, Usama, let us see Zaid. Zaid, yes, yes, Zaid.
I have a question.
Sorry?
I have a question.
Okay, hold your question, Zaid.
Okay.
Let us get an answer first, okay? Usama, you have an answer?
Yes.
Go ahead.
If the paint comes off his shoulder, then I think he can pray salah.
Can pray salah? Okay, you agree with Ahmed, yani? Abdurrahman Paolo, what do you think?
So I think the purpose of the ghusl is to cleanse yourself of the whole body. So I think you should remove the paint first before actually taking the ghusl.
So this is the correct answer, actually. Because like we said, in the case of ablution, guys, if there is a paint spot on your finger or your hand, your wudu is not accepted. Because why? You need to wash that part for wudu, right? In the case of shower, for a major state of impurity, here you are required to make sure that water covers your entire body, including the shoulder, of course, right? So here this guy has a spot on his shoulder, which does not allow the water to reach the skin underneath that spot. Hence, he must move or remove that spot before he takes shower. Makes sense, Ahmed and Osama? Okay, good. So let us take Zaid's question. Zaid, go ahead.
You said like if there's any like some kind of dye or anything on your like body part that you do wudu on, your wudu is not valid, right?
Yes, but not necessarily any dye. Remember, guys, the henna.
Like if it was on the hair, if the dye was on the hair, the
Yeah.
hair is part of the wudu.
Ahsant, ya Zaid. In the case of dye, we say that dye that does not have a substance, right? Does not have something that you can feel. Like in the case of paint, when you scratch it, there is a substance there, right?
Yeah.
While in the case of henna, that dyes the hair or the fingers for women, here, or the hands for women, this dye of henna, it does not have a substance. Okay?
Okay.
That's why it's fine to have it on and still make ablution. So if you dye your hair, it's fine to wash your entire body. You're not required to move the dark dye from your head in order to make ghusl, of course, because it's not a substance.
Okay.
Right? Did you get the difference here, Yazid?
Yes.
Good. Ahmed, you have a question?
So what about the other kinds of paint, like the one that you use for like painting on paper or on canvas?
Yes, I mean the paint, as long as it has a substance in which you can scratch and it is removed. This type of paint or dye, you cannot make ablution while it is still on your parts of wudu. You must remove them first. Like in the case of the nail polish, you can scratch it, right? It has a substance. So that's why you need to remove it before you make ablution. Clear, ya Ahmed?
Yes.
Usama, yes, go ahead.
But for ink, you cannot feel it on the skin.
Yeah, because the ink usually it is a substance. The ink usually it is a substance. You can scratch it, right? You can scratch it and it is removed. So just to be on the safe side, better remove it. Better remove it. Yes, pink. It is may form a doubt between is it a substance or not. Okay, so just to be on the safe side, make sure that you remove it first, and then you can make ablution. Because some can argue that paint is not a substance, which could be a very, very sound argument. But to be on the safe side, make sure that you remove any trace of such thing. Abdurrahman Paolo, please.
Outside clarification, since paint, if the paint can be removed, then you have to remove it before making wudu, right? So what if
Yes.
you're a convert and you have permanent tattoo instead?
Here, the tattoo usually it's not a removable thing, right? It's not a removable thing. That's why if someone is in a such case, he can still make wudu, make ablution. He is not required to go and do a surgery to remove the tattoo. He's not required to do that. But if there is a safe way for him to remove the tattoo without harming him, it is recommended that he does so. It is recommended. But again, the tattoo, because it's like the permanent henna, right? Permanent dye. It does not stand as a barrier in wudu. In its nature, it does not stand as a barrier between the skin and the water reaching the skin. So it's fine to make wudu with it. But the idea of having a tattoo, it is haram in the Sharia. It is forbidden to have tattoo. That's why if you can remove it without any harm, without a surgery, it is better and recommended. Otherwise, he may keep it without harming himself. Yes, ya Usama.
The tattoo before he, Ustad, what if he got the tattoo before he was a Muslim?
Again, like I said, ya Usama, having the tattoo, it's not a barrier between the skin and the water reaching the skin. So if someone has a tattoo, he can still make ablution. It's like the case of henna, right? Yeah. But the issue of tattoo, it is haram in the Sharia. It is haram in Islamically speaking. That's why if someone can remove the tattoo without harming himself, we say it is recommended that he does so. But if it is harmful to remove the tattoo, we do not order him that he does remove it or go into a surgery in order to remove it. So let us move to the seventh condition, which is, hold your question, Ahmed. Abstaining from the invalidators. Okay. So there are issues that we're going to talk about soon, which invalidate your ablution, like urinating, defecating, releasing air, and so on, these issues invalidate your wudu. So is it fine for someone while making ablution, halfway through, he goes and he urinates, and then he continues his ablution? Is it fine to do so?
It is not.
It is not. Ahsant Yazid. Why? Because he must abstain from all the invalidators of ablution. You cannot do an invalidator in between your wudu and continue doing your wudu. If he does do so, then he is required to start his ablution all over again. He must start all over again. But there are people who have this chronic illness in which they cannot hold air, for instance. They are in a continuous state of unable to control the air. So air comes out of them without them able to control it. We say such people who have such case, they should make wudu whenever every prayer starts. Whenever he wants to pray a prayer. If he wants to pray a dhuhr prayer, he must make ablution. And even if that air comes out, whether he was in salah or before salah, he can continue his salah. He can continue his salah because this is beyond his ability to hold. So what exactly is the way out for such people? Is whenever they want to pray, they make wudu for that obligatory prayer. With that wudu, they can pray the sunnah for that obligatory prayer, whether it was before the prayer, the obligatory prayer, or after the obligatory prayer. For instance, if somebody wants to pray dhuhr prayer, and we know that there are ratiba, which is the sunnah before dhuhr, maybe 4 rak'ah, right? And 2 rak'ah after. So with that wudu, he can pray the ratiba, which is the sunnah, the 4 rak'ah before dhuhr prayer, and he can pray the dhuhr prayer, and he can pray the sunnah after the dhuhr prayer with that single wudu. He is not required to make ablution whenever he breaks his wudu because of this illness that he has, which is the excretion of air without control of him. Did you get this point clearly, guys? This is only for those people who have such case. So whenever they want to pray an obligatory prayer, they make wudu then. Abdurrahman Arif, yes.
It happened to me.
Okay, good. And I hope now you're fine, inshallah ta'ala, ya Abdurrahman. Yeah, if someone is in a continuous case, then here we say this is the way out. This is the way out. Because if you tell that person who is in a such case, whenever he breaks his wudu, he must make an ablution, this will be an ongoing case for him, right? He may start praying dhuhr prayer and air comes out without his control. If you tell him go and break your salah and make another ablution, maybe if he goes and he makes ablution and comes back and stands in salah, he breaks his ablution again. So this is beyond his ability. And the Sharia, Islam, looks into the condition in which people are in and try to make things easy for them and not harmful. And of course, we in this case should not open the door for the shaitan to whisper in our mind. Did I make wudu or not? Did I lose my wudu or not? Remember, we have mentioned a rule earlier, guys. Who can remember this rule for such cases? Can you remember, guys, the rule that I mentioned to you before? The rule deals with certainty and doubt, right? Usama, go ahead. You remember the rule, ya Usama?
Ustad, you should not follow the doubts because the doubts are from shaitan.
We should not follow the doubt, and we always give priority or precedence to certainty. I am certain that I made wudu, right? But a doubt came to my mind. Did I lose my wudu or not? I do not leave my certainty for the doubt. I always stick with my things that I'm certain of. let's say the opposite. Let's say now the opposite. Now I am certain that I have no wudu. But a doubt came to my mind. Did I make wudu or not? To which thing should I pay attention for here? Abdurrahman Bawal.
You should pay to your certainty. So
Ahsant.
go make an wudu.
Go make an wudu. Ahsant ya Abdurrahman. Yes. Always, you only pay attention to what you are certain of. If I'm certain I have no ablution and a doubt came to me, did I make ablution or not? I pay attention to the certainty that I have no wudu. I go make wudu. If I was certain that I have wudu and a doubt came to me, did I lose my wudu or not? We say, don't pay attention to the doubt. Stick to what you are certain about. You have ablution. That's why the Prophet said, peace be upon him, whomever stands in a salah and he doubts whether he released air or not, he said he should not leave the salah unless he hears a sound or he smells something. Hearing the sound, smelling something, this becomes certainty, right? Here now, you became certain that you have lost your ablution. That's why you leave the case of ablution that you are in because of the being certain that you have released air, because if you've heard it or you smelled it, like he guided us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So those are the 7 conditions, guys. We need to pay good attention whenever we make ablution. Yes, yeah, Ahmad Sheikh, go ahead.
Ustad, what if you are not sure, like whether, like while you're praying salah, you smelled something, and then you're not sure that if you made it or if somebody else made it, then what should you do?
Yes, again, it's usually the smell, it's because you doubted yourself. You doubted yourself. Did I do it or not? Okay. If you doubted yourself, not someone else. If you doubted me or someone else, no, ignore this doubt. Ignore it. But if you doubted yourself alone, did I do it or not? And then you smell something, then here becomes certain that you have lost your ablution. And you need to break your salah, go make wudu, and pray again. Okay. So it's the doubt related to you, but not someone else, including you. It's only related to you alone. Yes, ya Usama.
Ustad, what if you're just praying and you did not doubt yourself and then you smelled something?
You did not doubt yourself?
Yeah, and you smelled it.
Yeah, it's someone else. It's not you. It's someone else. Do you break your ablution because someone else did something? No. You only break your ablution if you did something. But if someone else did something, no, it does not affect you at all. Okay. Yes, Usama.
Ustad, I have the question.
Right. Or Ahmed.
So what about like some kinds of like inks that are very like hard to like remove?
No, if it's very hard to know, this is from the shaitan. This is from the
No,
shaitan. Okay.
for the inks.
And the inks, like I said, better to remove the ink, to be on the safe side.
Ustad,
Better to remove.
but Ahmed's question is, what if the ink is very hard to remove?
You do your best. You try to use like a thinner or a nail polish remover to try to remove it, okay? So you do your best to get rid of it, inshallah ta'ala. If some trace of it, only for the ink, okay, for the pen ink, only for the pen ink, if some trace of it was left there, inshallah ta'ala, you're safe. You are safe. But not in the case of paint. Not in the case of paint. Paint, you try to remove it completely. But let us move to the pillars of wudu. Again, conditions. What is the difference between the conditions and the pillars? The conditions are prior to the act of worship, before you do the act of worship, while the pillars are part of the act of worship, right? So here in the case of conditions for wudu, it is issues you need to pay attention for before you start ablution. If conditions were for salah, there are issues you need to pay attention for and maintain before doing the salah. While the pillars are part of the ibadah, the act of worship. They are part of the act of worship. So the pillars of wudu are 6 issues which are mentioned in the ayah of Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse 6. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين. So those are the 4 parts of wudu. They are part of the wudu. They are pillars of wudu. So the face, the arm, rubbing the head with the ears, and washing the feet. Those 4 parts are pillars of wudu, meaning that you cannot skip any of them. Okay, you cannot skip any of them. When we say the face including the mouth and the nostrils. Okay, so the first 4 pillars of wudu are the 4 parts mentioned in this ayah. Wash the face, the arms, the head, and the feet. And again, the face including the mouth and the nostrils, and the head including the ears, including rubbing on the head, including the ears. So those are the 4 parts of wudu. Additionally, we have 2 more pillars. The first one is at-tartib. At-tartib means that you must do them in sequence. You cannot wash your feet first and then wash your face and arm and head. Okay? You cannot start with your arm, full arm, and then you wash the face. You must do it in sequence, exactly like it is mentioned in the ayah of Surah Al-Ma'idah. Start with your face, okay, and then your arms, and then your head, finally the feet. Those are the 4 parts. What about, guys, we commonly start by washing only the 2 hands, right? We commonly start by washing the 2 hands. Washing the 2 hands here before we start wudu, this is sunnah. It's not obligatory. It's not a pillar. So if someone goes immediately, starts by washing his mouth, nostrils, and the face, this is what is mentioned in the ayah of the Surah Al-Ma'idah. And we say you are correct, and you are fine, and you are safe to do so. And then he goes on, he washes the arms, right and left, and then he rubs on his head and his ears, finally the feet. We say this is the wudu mentioned in the Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse 6. So whatever is additional to that, it is sunnah. It is sunnah. It is recommended to do. But if you did not do it, you are fine and you are correct and safe in your ablution. Clear, guys? So at-tartib here means you must do it in sequence. Face, arms, head, finally feet. Here the sequence between the 4 parts. Remember I had mentioned to you earlier the sequence within the part itself. We have 2 arms, guys, right? So if someone starts with left and then right, what do you guys think? Is this fine? It is actually fine. It is fine. But the sunnah, they're more recommended to start with the right and then the left. Okay. So because it's only 1 part, it's fine if I skip the sequence here. But if 2 different parts, two totally different parts, like the face and the arms, I must follow the sequence. Okay. So the 4 parts again of wudu, the major 4 parts of wudu is the face, the 2 arms, the head, and the feet. Are we clear, guys?
Ustad, I want to ask something.
Go ahead, Abdurrahman.
So washing the hands is sunnah, right? So
Right.
what happens if you do it in the middle of, for example, in the middle of 3 and 4? Is it
in the middle of 3 and 4? Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, no problem. If it's something left on your hand, like some dust or so, you need to wash it. This is fine. This is fine. But it does not become part of the wudu. Okay. So you do not make it as a custom. Whenever you make ablution between 3 and 4, you wash your hand. Get the point here? only if there is a need to do so. Only if there is a need to do so. So this is the case of tartib, guys. Okay, tartib mean you must do it in sequence. Finally, al-muwala. Al-muwala means you should not leave a gap between the parts of wudu, in which the previous part becomes dry. For instance, I've washed my face and my 2 arms, and then someone knocked my house door. My mom told me, go open the door, Ya Abdurrahman. So Abdurrahman goes and he opens the door and he finds his neighbor asking him few things. And he went on and he chat with that neighbor for 10 minutes. So now if Abdurrahman finishes the chat and he wants to go back and complete his ablution, he needs to check, are my arms now dry or not? Okay. If his arms are dry, can he continue his ablution? No. Okay. But what if his arms are still wet? Can he continue the ablution? Yes. This is the meaning of muwala, that we should not leave a gap between the 2 parts in which the previous part becomes dry. If it becomes dry, I need to start my ablution all over again. Yes, Ya Abdurrahman.
Well, Ustad, in Saudi it's very hot and it gets dry easily. What do we do in that case?
Ahsan, good question, Ya Abdurrahman. The scholars usually say we look to the time gap in the normal condition. Okay, you don't count that based on the freezing cold condition or the completely hot condition. It's the average. So if the average time is 2 minutes between the 2 parts in which they become dry, okay, and you are in a very hot area. Very hot area means that maybe 15 seconds it becomes dry. You don't pay attention to this. You don't pay attention to this. You just stick to the normal weather, okay, which is around. This is my example. The 2 minutes is just an example, not a precise, measurement. When does the limb become dry? So if you are inside your house, you just need to pay attention to your previous part. Is it still dry or not? So let us quickly move to the last issue we'll cover in this class, which is...
Wait, Ustad, very quick question.
Go ahead, Abdurrahman.
For example, if the water is very cold, then I cannot stand the coldness. So, for example, I wash my face, then I dry it first, and then I'll go to the next step. Is that invalid or is that valid?
It's valid. It's okay. It's okay to do so. It is okay. But better to remain, until you finish your wudu. Better to remain and to finish your wudu. But if you do something, it does not count like the 6th pillar, which is al-muwala. Okay. We do not say, oh, now it's becoming dry, therefore I must start again. No. It became dry because you used a towel to make it dry. Okay. So it's fine. Your wudu is valid, but better to wait until the end and then you dry the entire parts, inshallah. But what are the invalidators of wudu? The first one is any discharge from the private parts, excrement, urine, semen, gas, etc. All these are invalidators. If someone is holding wudu and now he's certain that it excreted something, here we say you have lost your wudu. If you want to pray, you must make a new ablution. The second one is losing consciousness, like deep sleep or fainting, or in the case of insanity, someone became insane, okay, he lost conscious. Or because of intoxication, someone become drunk, he is not aware of anything, right? Here we say you must make ablution if you want to pray. Okay, what is in the case of sleeping? What is the measurement here of to know that did I go into deep sleep or not? Scholars, they say usually that if you are sitting, like you usually sit on a chair, and a short slumber, you fell into a short slumber, in which if someone calls you, you are triggered immediately. You pay attention immediately. Okay. But if you are in a state when someone is calling you and you're not responding, then this is a deep sleep in which you need to make a newer wudu if you're going to pray. Okay. So the difference between the deep sleep or when does it become a deep sleep is if someone is calling you and you're not responding, here you are in a deep sleep. Okay. Or if someone touches you to wake you up and you are not aware where you are. Okay. Here you are in a deep sleep. Here you are in a deep sleep. But if you're like taking a short slumber, someone touches you, you open your eyes and you know where you are. Immediately here, this is not a deep sleep, your wudu is still valid. Or if he calls you, respond immediately. Here, you are not in a deep sleep and your wudu is valid. Another issue, an issue of dispute between the scholars is eating camel meat. Eating camel meat. There is a hadith that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said that we should make wudu from eating camel meat. So if someone eats camel meat, then he has lost his ablution. He needs to make wudu. Another issue is holding the private part immediately without a barrier, using your hand. Okay. If you touch your private part without a barrier, someone who's naked, he touches his private part, here he loses his ablution. I think Ihsan asked about this question earlier, this issue earlier, and I said that it is an issue of dispute between the scholars. Some say that no, you don't lose your ablution based on the hadith of Qais ibn Talq ibn Ali when he said it's only part of you. That the Prophet said to him, that's only part of you. But others said no, it breaks your wudu, and they used the hadith of Basra bint Safwan when the Prophet said that the Prophet said, peace be upon him, whomever touches his private part, let him make wudu. So this is two conflicting hadith. So scholars try to reconcile between these two hadith. So they said it is recommended that you make ablution. It is recommended that you make ablution. And if you do not make ablution, they say your wudu is valid. So again, to be on the safe side, better to make wudu. And if you do not make wudu because of touching your private part, here we say it is your wudu is valid. Your wudu is valid, and based on the position of those who say it is recommended, your wudu is valid in this case. But to be on the safe side, if you make wudu, it is better. Finally, committing apostasy. If someone goes outside the fold of Islam, okay? So here, he was a Muslim, he had wudu, and the shaitan came to him, evil company around him, whispered in his mind, convinced him of shirk or kufr, or becoming an atheist, billah. If he accepts that to become an atheist while holding wudu, he loses his ablution. If he becomes again a Muslim, that ablution is invalidated because of the act of apostasy. So this is something we need to be aware of, those invalidators. Here finally a note, you don't need to make ablution for every prayer as long as you did not commit any of the above invalidators of wudu. So if I make dhuhr in Fajr prayer, I make wudu, and I did not do any of the invalidators until Asr time, can I still pray with that wudu, dhuhr and Asr prayer? What do you guys think?
Can you say it again?
Yes, if I make wudu in Fajr prayer, okay, and I did not commit any of the invalidators at all, and let's say Maghrib time came, can I pray with that wudu of Fajr time, Maghrib Salah?
Yes.
Yes, good. Abdurrahman and Abdurrahman are saying yes. So yes, you can pray with that wudu because you did not do any invalidator. Santum, you did not break your ablution, therefore you can still use that same wudu. So this is the issue here, guys, pertaining the ablution. And what remains for us is to talk about the ghusl And of course, let us just discuss, guys, here the timing in Ramadan. Coming Friday is going to be Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala, and may Allah prolong our lives to make it to Ramadan and make us to exploit the best out of Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala, in worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. So is it fine if we continue at the same time? Maybe we'll continue 2 or 3 Jum'ahs in Ramadan, and the last 10 days of Ramadan we'll stop, we'll take a break, inshallah. So same time after Jum'ah prayer, like here in Jeddah, 1:30 almost. Is it fine for you guys to continue same time?
Yes.
Abdurrahman Arif is saying yes. Remaining guys?
No, I didn't say
Abdurrahman
that.
Pablo?
I didn't say that.
He did not say that, yeah, Abdurrahman Arif. Okay, Ihsan saying good. Thank you, Ihsan. So is it fine for you guys? The first maybe 2 Fridays or 3 Fridays, we continue same time. Sam and Ahmed are saying fine. Who else?
Can you say
So-
that again?
Yes, I mean, is
No,
it
but
fine?
no.
Hamza, yes, it's not fine for you. You're in Riyadh, right?
No. Yeah, I'm Riyadh because of the school timing. I cannot take class.
No, Friday. Friday of school?
No, and I forgot.
Friday, same time. We'll continue Friday, same time. Should be fine, right, Hamza?
Yeah, but that's fine. Yes,
Good.
yes.
Abdurrahman Arif, I was saying that we'll continue in Ramadan on Fridays, maybe the first 2 or 3 Jum'ahs, same time, 1:30. Is this fine for you?
Yes.
Good, good. So I assume it's fine for everyone, inshallah ta'ala. But the last 10 days of Ramadan, we'll take it off, inshallah ta'ala, and we'll continue maybe after Eid. I'll let you know exactly when we'll start, inshallah ta'ala. طيب, let me just mention to you guys the importance, quickly, the importance for getting ready for Ramadan. Ramadan is a very peculiar time in the entire year, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens the gates of paradise, right? And closes the gates of hellfire. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. So the intention behind such great season is that we come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we be as much as we can dutiful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is an opportunity in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala multiplies in so many folds any good act of worship that you do in Ramadan. So such opportunity should be exploited to maximum. We should not miss such opportunity. Ramadan is an opportunity to collect as much reward as we can. In fact, Ramadan is a station for us to change to the best, for us to become a better person and continue being a better person. Sadly, we do see some people in Ramadan, maybe they quit so many bad habits, like smoking, for instance. But once Ramadan is over, they go back to the same bad habit. Here, these people did not benefit much from such station. So this is why if anyone has any bad habits, Ramadan is a chance for us to change and to become better people, inshallah ta'ala. So we ask Allah, the first thing that we should, receive Ramadan with is to make dua sincerely to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us make it to Ramadan and to guide us and to help us do our best in Ramadan. In terms of fasting, we try to safeguard our fasting from anything that may harm our fasting. We try to do acts of worship as much as we can during the day and during the night. Do not make it a practice like so many people out there. During the day, mashallah, they're so much pious, so much righteous. They do so much good deeds. But once they break their fasting, they go watch movies, listen to music, and have fun as if it's not Ramadan at all. In fact, some people plan Ramadan nights to be more evil than the regular days during the remaining time of the year. So these people did not benefit much from such station given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also we should always be in a continuous state of hamd and shukr, being grateful and displaying gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us live and make it to Ramadan. We have seen so many people, maybe this year, had passed away. They were not able to make it to Ramadan. Allah had given us the opportunity, inshallah ta'ala, to make it to Ramadan. So we should not miss such opportunity by indulging into wrong practices and ignoring the purpose behind having Ramadan. Ramadan, again, is an opportunity to collect as much reward as we can and to be a beginning for us to start a new relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that would remain full with righteousness until we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, we should be happy and grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making us make it to Ramadan. Some people, they say, oh, Ramadan is a time in which we are going to, abstain from so much good things that we used to enjoy. We say Allah had given us the entire year to do permissible, maybe enjoyable things. Ramadan is only 1 month in a full year in which we can do our best to exploit every moment in doing goodness. So if anyone has a program to go and play soccer or maybe basketball or having any sports schedule, try to minimize that in Ramadan and try to use most of your time in getting closer to Allah. Learn about your deen, read Quran as much as you can, do good acts of worship, giving sadaqah. The Prophet, peace be upon him, in Ramadan, he was more generous than any other time of the year. So we try to stick to his sunnah and his practices in Ramadan as much as we can. And we try to even call others to be upon that, inshallah ta'ala. And also among the important factors is that we learn the rulings of Ramadan. What is good in Ramadan? What is bad in Ramadan? What invalidates our fasting? What is permissible if we do in Ramadan? So we need to be very much aware of the rulings of fasting. That's why, inshallah ta'ala, I'll try to share with you guys in our Telegram channel. I made a short charts that compiles the important rulings of Ramadan. It's pertaining the pillars of the conditions of fasting, who should fast, if someone is in a state of sickness, if someone is in a state of he cannot fast also, how do we know the comments of Ramadan, the sighting of the moon, and some more issues pertaining fasting, all summarized in these charts. So you can hold it with you in your mobile or on your desktop to go and refer to it. If you want to learn even more, I have made 2 audio sessions in which I've collected all the rulings of fasting that it is required from us as Muslims to learn and maintain. So I'll share all that with you guys in the Telegram channel. I think I did that before, but I'll repost them in order for you to have easy access to them, inshallah ta'ala. So that's why we need to learn the rulings of fasting. Also, we need to learn what's permissible, what's not permissible for us in Ramadan. And we need to learn the lifestyle of Prophet Muhammad in Ramadan, how the Salaf, the Sahaba, and the first 3 generations, how did they receive Ramadan? How did they behave in Ramadan? We need to read their biography in order to get the best out of Ramadan as much as we can. Also, Quran, Shahru Ramadan, Shahru Quran, the shahr in which the Quran was revealed in. So our relation with the Quran should not be like the remaining time of the year. We should put more time for the Quran, more time in reading the Quran, more time in memorizing the Quran and reviewing what we have memorized earlier, and let that Quran be part of our salah. For instance, when we pray the sunan of the obligatory prayer, put what you memorize from the Quran in this sunan as much as you can, and try to increase the amount of recitation that you read in this sunan in your salah, so that your salah will be better, inshallah ta'ala, and you'll be in a better relation with the Quran, inshallah ta'ala. And also make sure that you do Quran, again, like Ihsan asked about the issue of ikhlas, make sure that you do it sincerely for Allah alone. You're fasting not to get the praise of anyone. You're fasting not to get any reward from anyone. You are fasting sincerely for Allah alone. You are praying for the sake of Allah alone, not seeking the praise or reward of anyone but Allah Azza wa Jalla. And also, we take extra care of salah. We pray obligatory prayers as much as we can in the masjid, inshallah ta'ala. And we pay attention also to salat al-tarawih. We go to the masjid and pray salat al-tarawih with the jama'ah. Because he said, peace be upon him, Man qama Ramadan iman wa ihtisaban ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbihi. So whoever stands the night of Ramadan in prayer, like in Tarawih, Allah will forget his past sins, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So again, it is an opportunity not to miss, inshallah ta'ala. So we need to get used to even to Salat al-Layl, praying at night and so on. So Ramadan is a beginning for us to train ourselves into such ibadah, inshallah ta'ala. Also, we need to make sure that our aqidah is correct, is sound. We don't have any shirk, we don't have any bid'ah. We do our best not to commit any ma'asi, sins in Ramadan and in the entire year, of course. Because our aqidah is our most valuable asset that we need to make sure that it is free from any misguidance that may reach it. So we safeguard it as much as we can from being reached by bid'ah, misconceptions, doubts, or shirk, and all that, inshallah. So this is a very, very concise advice in which we can, inshallah ta'ala, receive Ramadan while we are ready and prepared, inshallah ta'ala. So if you have any questions, guys, related to this issue, Abdurrahman Arif, you have something to say?
Yes. What if someone, when he is fasting, but then forgot that he is fasting, and then ate food, but then accidentally know that he is fasting in the middle of eating, and then he spits out the food at the middle of eating, but didn't swallow the food. Does he break the fast, or is he or does he keep continuing?
Good question, Ya Abdurrahman, mashallah. Yes, we have the hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. Whomever eats while forgetting, let him continue his fasting. Fairly, Allah had fed him and gave him something to drink. So if someone, like in this hadith, forgets and he went on and opened the fridge and he saw a plate of rice, he took it with meat and he went and he cooked it, right? Or he warmed it. He ate it. And then he went back to the fridge and then he found some sweets there or dessert there. And he opened the fridge and he went on and he ate it. And then he saw some juice in there and he went on and he drank it. After finishing, he remembered he was fasting. Is this fasting valid, guys?
Yes.
What do you guys think?
Because he forgot.
Yes. Ahsan, yes. No. Based on the hadith. No, it is valid. It is valid. Based on the hadith of the Prophet, if he does that while forgetting, then his fasting is valid, right? But now, let's say Abdurrahman Arif, that issue happened to him, okay? He went on, he cooked food, started eating. Then Ihsan came in and he saw him eating. Should Ihsan remain silent and let Abdurrahman continue eating, or should he stop him and tell him, stop eating, you are fasting?
I have to stop him, Mr.
Ihsan, of course, not stopping by force, Ihsan, because you're bigger than Abdurrahman, but try to advise him. Say, Abdurrahman, stop. What if Abdurrahman continues, guys, eating after the advice of Ihsan? Is his fasting valid?
No, because he
No.
was reminded.
Ihsan, he's been reminded, and now he's eating intentionally,
No.
not while forgetting. Yes, Ahsan, Ya Hamza. Now he's eating while remembering. He's not forgetting. He's doing it intentionally. Now he loses his fasting. So if someone eats while forgetting and then he remembers, once he remembers, if there is any food remaining in his mouth, he should spit it out. Spit it out and then continue his fasting. Abdurrahman Arif, is this clear, inshallah?
What if he only tasted it but didn't swallow it?
Okay, if he tastes the food while forgetting and not swallowing it, his fasting is still valid. Like I said, even if he eats it while forgetting, his fasting is valid. We have cases where when the mothers are cooking in the kitchen, right? And sometimes they need to taste the food. Is it salty or not, for instance? It is fine to taste with the tip of the tongues, for instance, and spit it immediately out. If there is a need for that. If there is no need for that, then she should not taste the food. Ihsan, go ahead.
But Mr. Okay, I have this one. It's very specific situation. Okay, he knows that he is fasting, right?
Okay.
And then what happens is he falls down. He falls down and food falls into his mouth. He eats it by accident. Is he still fasting or no?
Okay, if someone is fasting and he's lying down with his mouth open, right?
Yeah, and then
then
food falls into his mouth.
Yes, then Osama came and he had one grape in his hand, right? And he dropped it in his mouth intentionally. Okay, does that guy loses his fasting if that grape goes into his stomach? No, because he did not do it intentionally, right? And he was not waiting to receive it, right? He was not waiting to receive it. So in such case, no. Even the scholars, they mention if someone like dust enters into his mouth, he's a very windy place and dust gets into his mouth and gets into his belly, they say his fasting is valid. Similarly the case if someone is walking and a fly goes into his mouth and into his stomach. This can happen, guys, and this is among the issues in which the scholars mention. If such thing happens, then his fasting is valid. His fasting is valid. Next sense, Ihsan. Good. Yes, ya Osama. This is the last question, and then we'll call it off. Okay.
Ustad, it is Ahmed.
Yes, Ahmed.
Ustad, like what if like the person he chews on something? I don't mean like gum or like something. I mean like suppose like rubber or something else like that.
In the first place, you shouldn't do so. You shouldn't do so because some of these, substances which are not food, it may have some fluid inside it, some water maybe. So he should not, chew such things inside his mouth. But if it happened by mistake, for instance, he was trimming his nails. Okay, he was trimming his nails and he was chewing the nail. We say, be careful. If you intentionally swallow it, you break your fasting. If you intentionally swallow it, you break your fasting. So be careful. So better to avoid such practices during the day of Ramadan. But if he does do so, and then you need to spit it immediately out. You need to spit it immediately out. Okay, guys. Barakallahu feekum wa jazakumullahu khaira. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala extend our lives to make it to Ramadan. So it could be tomorrow Ramadan or Sunday. It could be Saturday or Sunday, inshallah ta'ala, based on the citation of this, the sighting of the moon. If they sight the moon today, Maghrib time, then tonight we'll pray Taraweeh. We'll pray Taraweeh tonight, and tomorrow is the first day of Ramadan. But if they did not sight the moon, then tomorrow is the end of Sha'ban, the 30th of Sha'ban. And the day after, which is Sunday, is going to be Ramadan. And on the 30th of Sha'ban, we pray Taraweeh at night. Because the next day will be Ramadan. Barakallahu feekum wa jazakumullahu khaira. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh jami'an. Take care, you guys.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
حياكم الله.